Greetings and welcome back to the Friday 13th YouTube channel Metalheads. Today, you're going to be watching a fantastic interview with the one and only LA Thrashers, Evil Dead. Now, Evil Dead are about to release their new album called Toxic Grace for Steam Hammer Records, which is a fantastic follow-up to the band's last album, which you've probably got. It's called The United States of Anarchy. I want to thank Juan Garcia from Evil Dead and Body Count for doing this interview. I also want to thank Andy Turner for setting up this interview. So, Metalheads, please enjoy, please share on social media. Stay through, Metalheads. More interviews coming soon. Thanks for watching. Yeah, so how are you doing, Juan? You been good since I last spoke to you?
I've been good, bro. Just a little busy with all things body count, all things Evil Dead, and getting ready for. As you know, we've got a lot of stuff going on. I love your screensaver there in the background. It's awesome.
I've got some more.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. Yeah, no, I'm good.
So, Juan, I want to thank you for doing this interview. We're talking to Juan Garcia from Evil Dead, folks. Welcome to Friday 13th once again. So, Juan, I'm going to ask you some warm-up questions just before we talk about the new album, which is fantastic, as we all know. So, your last album, United States of Anarchy. So, how successful was that for you since we last interview?
On a personal level, I think it was very successful because it took, it was a while since we've done a record with Evil Dead, a full-length record. So, I look at it as we do this, Jason, because we love thrash metal and we love music in general. We're fans of the style of music, so we're not like disillusioned with with grandeurs and things like that. I think the reviews were good, and I was happy. We got to tour it last year finally in Europe. I mean, it was did well enough to where SPV wanted us to do another record. So that's always a great thing. So I'm grateful to be able to play this kind of music and be able to deliver music to our fans.
So, whereabouts did you actually tour in Europe for that? You did some festivals, didn't you? Was it Alcatraz? Was one of them? Was it?
Yeah, that was a great show. We did Alcatraz Festival in Belgium. We did the Wacken Open Air in Germany. We did Brutal Assault in Czech Republic. We also went into Poland to shows in Poland. A lot of Germany and Netherlands. Yeah, it was a 2-week run we did, and it was based around the festivals, and also the club shows were a lot of fun as well. We got to test some of the new material live before we put the record out, and it's always a good thing to go out and meet the fans and thank them for supporting the band and supporting what we do. It's great.
Did you actually play Dynamo Festival or the actual club on that tour?
No, you mean Download in the UK?
No, Dynamo Festival.
Dynamo, no, Dynamo. No, we did not do Dynamo Festival. I done Dynamo with Agent Steel, but not with Evil Dead. We hope to do Dynamo next time around. When we come to the Netherlands.
Right. Do you have any plans? Was there any plans to play the UK for that tour? Because
a lot of people ask me when I was out there with Body Count a few years ago. I saw Evil Dead shirts, fans wearing them. I would love to come to the UK. Bloodstock is on my wish list of festivals, but not just that. I like the clubs as well. Club shows are always great, and not just London. I would love to play other cities as well. I'll be there in June with actually, was it late June, early July with Body Count, and hopefully I can talk to some promoters and maybe see about bringing Evil Dead out next year.
Yeah, so if you had to describe two bands that Evil Dead sounded like, who would you say, for the people that don't know what you sound like, who would you say you sound like close to?
The older, as far as what we sound like for new school guys.
Yeah, and the old school, and the old school guys
old
that
school,
don't.
okay, I get you. That's a good question. So for me, I would say a little bit of a municipal waste. I think we're a little bit influenced by us. I don't know if they'll ever admit that. Power Trip a little bit for the new school guys. Somewhere in there, Power Trip, Municipal Waste, a little bit of Slayer. Can't go wrong with that.
Now, what about the old schoolers?
The
If
old
people,
schoolers.
if people wanted to say we sound old school, oh, so what sort of old school bands do you sound like compared to?
That's good. If Iron Maiden on Speed.
I'd say Sacred Reic's first album,
There you
Ignorance.
go. Let's not forget about that. For sure. That's a great
Or
band. That song "Surf Nicaragua," man, is one of my favorites
maybe
all time.
maybe a little bit of Lars Rocket as well.
A little bit of Lost. You know what? When we toured with Lost Rocket back in the day, you're absolutely correct. You hit it on the nail. For sure, some Lost Rocket in there.
Yeah, brilliant. So when you look back at your first two albums on one, which is your favourite? Does it vary every time, or do you have a favourite?
From the first two records,
Yeah,
Annihilation and the Underworld,
yeah.
two different records completely.
Mm.
One was a little more produced. That's the Underworld. I would say I would lean more towards Annihilation of Civilization. It's I think it defines the band, um, pretty much what we're all about. We're fans of thrash metal. We write
Yeah.
thrash metal for us because we enjoy listening to this type of music. And we have influences from some hardcore bands and some punk bands as well. I think the first Evil Dead record is pretty amazing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you did. I think you only did one promotional video back then for MTV, didn't you? If I remember
We
rightly.
did. We did. A friend of ours went to town on that video. Man, I was surprised that MTV even picked it up because it has a lot of gory stuff going on.
It's very
That was
political,
that's
wasn't
the
it?
time we lived in back then.
It's very political, wasn't it? Very about the pollution and trying to make a
Yeah,
statement.
and it's pretty much the same stuff going on today, right, Jason?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nothing's changed really. It's still pretty
Nothing's
much.
changed.
So, I mean, a lot of these hardcore bands you say are influenced by. Did you say hardcore bands are influenced by you?
A little bit, some hardcore. I mean, well, as far as punk bands, I would say a little bit of Dead Kennedys and Black Flag. But as far as hardcore, I mean, Crumbsuckers a little bit.
Good band, good band.
Very good band. Yeah, I would say that. I think we got some humor from SOD. I think a lot of bands did, right?
Yeah,
First SOD
absolutely.
record.
Yeah.
Awesome record.
So, just before we start talking more about Evil Dead, I mean, what's your opinion on the Agent Steel that's still kicking about? If you don't mind me asking.
About the Agent Steel, what?
The Agent Steel, like new albums that they're still trying to whoever's. It's real. It's real complicated because there's no original members in that band, and
It's very complicated. There's a lot of history and legend there. Classic old school speed metal band. Um, I haven't heard a lot of the new stuff. I heard a few songs and I thought they were pretty cool. Um, that's more for John to say than me.
but
I
he's not
have no
actually in the
idea.
band, is he? He's not actually in the band, though, is he?
I don't even know what's going on with Agent Steel. I'll be honest with you, Jason.
Yeah, I know.
I'm a big fan of the band,
Yeah,
as you know. Being involved in it, and it's a big part of my history. As far as what they're doing now, I'm not really that tapped into it. I know they've canceled some shows, and which is also always a shame, because fans come from all over the world to see, that's that band, and it's a shame. Anytime any band when they cancel, it's not a good thing. I wish them the best. I mean, I haven't spoken to John in years. Last show we did together was at Sweden Rock, which is a great show. That was really good, and that's kind of where I left it. I just for me, I put the band away on the shelf. I want to remember it as a killer show with Bernie and John and Bobby on bass on that tour, and Rigo playing drums. That was a killer show, and that's how I want to remember Agent Steel. Some fans want to remember it more from back in the day.
yeah. I mean, we first met at Wacken in 1999. You and
Yeah,
that was the first time we met, and then we saw each other again at the Grass Pop Festival.
right. That was Bruce Hall. That was what I consider Agent Steel Mach 2.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah, Bruce was a great singer, and when we reunited with John, we thought it was going to last a bit, but it was just difficult to keep it going. There was a lot of logistics, and it's some great music for sure, though.
so what does Ice-T think of Evil Dead before we talk about the new Evil Dead album? What does he think of your band?
You know, he's a fan of all kinds of music. Honestly, Jason, I mean, he's a fan of Cannibal Corpse. He likes Power Trip. I mean, he likes all kinds of music. He thinks it's dope. You know, if you were to ask him, he would say, "Yeah, this is pretty dope."
So what does dope mean to you?
Dope.
Cool.
What's that?
What does dope mean in American
It
slang?
means that he likes it.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, dope is like it's cool. It's good. You know.
It's kind of weird because like when I first met you at Wacken in 1999, you were playing with Agent Steel and Vince was playing with Steel Prophet. Now you two guys are together with Body Count.
Right. Yeah, I know. Isn't that strange?
Don't
Bill
you ever
Boggs is
think? Don't you
great.
ever think of doing like a power metal band together as a side
You
project?
know what? He asked if I could help Still Profit. I think they want to come on and do some shows in America. They have a new singer, and we talked about it. And then there's one festival that we could possibly do with Evil Dead and Still Profit. We were talking about that, and then he goes, "What do you think about doing a couple Agent Steel songs?" So you know, it's funny you bring it up. I think you tap right into that. But no, as far as a new project with, you know, I don't know. It's we're so busy with life and just keeping Evil Dead and everything else going that it'd be cool though for sure.
I know the singer from Steel Prophet is also in the band Mystic Prophecy.
Yes,
Yeah,
His
yeah,
name's Leah, right? Leah.
yeah. That's him. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, then. So I'm going to ask you some more warm-up questions now. So 1 minute, please. So the new album, Toxic Grace. Who came up with that title?
our singer Phil Flores came up with it. We were having a hard time coming up with a title, and I he suggested that, and it felt like original enough. It describes the current status of things, and I thought it was a good title for the record.
Right. So I'm in the artwork behind me. It's a great album cover. How long did it take to do the artwork? And what other concepts did you have in mind?
Well, Phil Flores came up with it with the concept to the new record. I mean, I had a big influence on the Annihilation cover with Ed Repka and in the Underworld and even the United States of Anarchy record. So you know, Phil wanted to be more involved with this album cover, and I thought it was a fair thing. You know, he wrote 99% of the lyrics on this record, so he had a vision in his mind what the cover should be, and he explained it to me, and we ran it by Dan Goldsworthy, and we collaborated a bit on it, and I think Dan Goldsworthy nailed the artwork brilliantly. You know.
Because I know you used to work with Ed Repka, didn't you? He does a lot of the new thrash bands, doesn't he?
Yeah, we did 3 records with Ed Repka. We're fans of Ed Repka's work. Uh, Dan Goldsworthy's a big fan of Ed Repka's work and a fan of Evil Dead. So we felt it was time to do something a little different. And I love what Dan brought to the table. I
Right
love his
then.
art.
I mean, now, what is your mascot? What's his name?
His name's Evil Fred.
Evil Fred. Who came up with the
Evil
name?
Fred. Yeah, he's a newscaster this time, giving us all the
Yeah.
doom and destruction in the world, and it's a quite fitting cover.
So evil Ed could be friends with Ed Force One.
You're right. There you go. That's funny.
So I mean, who came up with the idea? Who came up with the name and the concept for the very first album? Because he's your mascot, and he's like Eddie's for Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
And you've got this guy,
If you look at our demos, Rob Alaniz had a little sketch of this character, and he was funny looking, and so we knew we wanted a mascot. So uh, we ran the idea by Ed Repka, and you know we want him kind of disfigured. You know he's in a Club Med setting. There's pollution everywhere, toxic waste all around on the Annihilation cover. So we wanted something like that, and Ed designing some of those death covers, the leprosy cover and stuff. So the Megadeth cover, Peace Cells it gave us a good twist, you know, to incorporate that kind of nuclear look the color green on the Annihilation cover. But it was a combination of, Rob, our drummer, me suggesting stuff for the concept of the album cover, the Annihilation cover, to Ed, and then Ed running with it. He also designed our logo, the Evil Dead logo.
Right.
So it was
So,
great working with Ed, for sure.
so the other guy on the album cover behind me, who's this guy?
Well, he doesn't have a name at the moment, but we call him a sheeple. A sheeple is a sheep and a person, a people, sheeple. So sheep and a people, so it's sheeple. So sheeps are known to follow. So the twist on it is like, in America, the Constitution is a "We the People." So if you look closely at the artwork, there's a thing on the wall that says "We the Sheeple." So he's a just a fictional character who's doom scrolling on a device and scared of the world outside. And, you have the surveillance drone, and he's just glued to his TV, his laptop, his phone, his iPad on the bottom there, all cracked up. So yeah, it's just a person who follows, who's addicted to social media and the news.
All right, so you've just created a new band name, Sheeple, for some band out there that need a band name.
There you go. Yeah, sheeple. It's because we make reference to a sheep on a few of the lyrics on the record. Uh, so we just felt, you know what, instead of having a person there with a gas mask, let's just make it kind of interesting and put a sheeple. So, you got to have fun with this, Jason.
Of course you
We have
do.
fun with our album covers, and it's like a Quentin Tarantino movie. You know what I mean? You can't take life too serious. So
Would you say that?
and we like to leave the artwork up for interpretation as well.
Right, okay. Would you say that your lyrics are kind of political then?
What was that?
Would you say that the band's lyrics are quite political?
It's our observation on what's going on in the world. I think in the 80s and 90s we're a tad more leaning towards politics. It makes for interesting lyrics. There's hints of that on the record for sure.
I know back in the day with Agent Steel, you were more about the universe and alien abductions and stuff. So this is completely, totally different thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's a different band. It's a different style of music. Agent Steel was more speed metal. We like to dabble in the possibility of alien life forms. We were doing that way before the X-Files and stuff. It was quite unique for the time. You know, it's still the whole possibility of extraterrestrial life is something that I think is very possible, and that was the concept we used with Agent Steel, and then
Yeah,
with Evil Dead, it's totally different. We're more thrash.
yeah. Okay, then so Toxic Grace was the only title you had. Did you have any other titles?
We had a few other ones. I can't even remember them because we just kind of threw them away. Um, no, I can't. That was the one that stuck. I thought it was unique enough. Because a title's important, and it's different. It's different for us. I can't think of any. We had a few other ones, but I can't think of them right now.
That's what they all.
So it's the one that
That's what they
stuck.
all say. That's what they all say. I can't remember.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, there was one that reminded me of Megadeth. I can't even remember what it was. Something, dystopia, black dystopia, or something like. I told Rob, dude, that's total Megadeth. That ain't gonna work.
Yeah. So Dave Casey's worked with you on this album. So how happy are you with the production? And how long did
The
it take
record,
to
I'm
Yeah.
very happy. We took our time. We had two different producers. We had Dave Casey and a friend of mine called Rob Hill, and both of them brought something different to the table, and um, we had a lot of time to work on these songs, and yeah, man, production wise, I think it's a very powerful record.
So did you write all the music and Rob do all the Phil do all the vocals?
No,
lyrics?
on this record, I would say a mass majority of the material was written by Albert Gonzalez, my guitarist, my partner here. Um, it all starts with a guitar riff, and he has
Yeah.
an arsenal of riffs, and he will present to me and Rob, the drummer, and then we decipher what works and what for the songs, and then I will throw in some ideas as well, and then Rob will work on the beats, and he'll suggest some ideas. It's like a process. Then we'll demo those ideas, give it to Phil, our singer. He'll come up with some lyrics and ideas. We leave a lot of room for the bass, for Carlos to come up with some bass lines. He may even suggest parts as well. So it's a good collaboration of the whole band. But the initial ideas are, it's been, the plan has been like Albert comes up with these really cool guitar riffs that flow well, and we build from there. So
Right.
we
Now,
all
so,
kind of collaborate on it, but the majority of the ideas come from Albert
so how long did it
on
take?
Toxic Grace, and then the last album as well, the United
Okay.
States of Anarchy record as well.
Okay.
I
One.
mean, I
So
have a
how?
bunch of ideas, but it's just like we haven't even got to those yet. So it's good to have a lot of riffs, and that's one thing for sure that we're never going to run out of ideas.
No. So you got plenty of ideas for the next album already.
Well, we have some. If you would ask Rob and Albert, I'm sure they would say they have a half an album written. But we got to go through it, and we got to due diligence and go through all the stuff and see what works and what doesn't. It's fun, man. I mean, I'm grateful to be able to play music and do what we do.
So how would you compare this new album to the last album?
I'd say this one's more focused as far as from a production perspective. We paid a lot of attention to the details of the tempos of the songs, so it all works well together. Um, that's really the difference. Is more on the production side. Um, we have some influence, some doom metal influences, some Sabbathy type riffs on here, and of course there's a lot of fast material. But I say from a production perspective, is the major difference.
Okay. When you say doom metal, was Trouble in there as well?
Was that?
Was Trouble also in there when you say about doom metal? Was that part of
I,
the?
I don't know if Trouble was in there, but I definitely hear some death in there. Death and Sabbath for sure. Sabbath.
Okay, then one. So my next question for you is, what's your favorite songs from the new album?
Yeah, that's a good question. There's a few. I like the song Reverie a lot. It moves. It's got a cool vibe for it. That's the second track on the record. I also like the last track, Fear Porn. Um, that was a total banger. Those are
What's that?
probably
What's that about? What's that about? Fear
yeah.
porn.
It's a trippy title. Fear porn. What it is a person who doom scrolls all day on a phone, who's addicted to social media and the doom and destruction going on in the world. Somebody who's just addicted to chaos and disorder, who's constantly on a device looking for the next story of doom. It's the fear of fear. It's actually it's what it is. It's somebody who's just addicted to fear, who's addicted to doom and that kind of stuff. It's
That's kind of
interesting.
weird. It's kind of weird because you called it fear porn, but it's got nothing to do with porn.
Right. It's porn, meaning the addiction part, addicted
Right.
to fear and doom. Yeah, it's like a saying in America. There's food porn. Food porn are people that love food. So fear porn are people that can't get enough of the news, CNN and Fox News and all that stuff, and BBC in your neck of the woods. So
Okay, then.
you get the idea.
Yeah. So what about any other songs, one? Do you have any other favorite songs?
Those are my two favorites for sure. But I mean, there's a lot of stuff. This whole album flows very well. FAFO, which stands for "Fuck Around and Find Out." It's the opening track.
Okay.
That, that was a really cool one. Even the two video songs we put out are dope. Subjugated Souls, we put that out April 24th as a video single. Uh, the Raising Fresh Hell, that was another cool one. Stupid on Parade, dude. This record, I think, kicks major ass for sure. It's a fun record. I'm very proud of everybody's contribution to this.
So the first song, who came up with that title?
What was that?
Who came up with the first song title? The FAFO.
Phil Flores, the vocalist.
Right.
He wanted to have a song. He wanted it because that's a popular thing here. I don't know if it is in the UK. FAFO, fuck around and find out. People that fuck around. But our song is more about gun control and that kind of stuff. That's what the song's about. Somebody who fucks around and then he's gonna find out. So it's fun, man. You got to have fun with this stuff.
Plus, So what sort of reviews have you been getting? I've also reviewed the album. You might have seen the review on my YouTube channel.
I saw your review on the YouTube channel. Our reviews have been, for the most part, positive. I mean, there's always some haters out there, but I try not to pay too much attention to any of this. I like it. We make music for ourselves and our fans, and so far, the reviews have been very positive. So I hope they continue to be.
Right then, so my next big question is, when are you going to be touring for this album? Is there any plans for the UK, Europe? Obviously, you're really busy with Body Count over the summer.
Yeah. August 16th, we're playing in Los Angeles with Whiplash at the Terragram Ballroom. That's going to be our first show promoting this new record. In October, we're doing the California Death Fest in Oakland with Sodom and Sacrifice. Hyrax is on the bill. Those are the first 2 American shows that we've announced. There's going to be more coming. As far as a full-on tour, I would say 2025. I'm being realistic. It's probably when you'll see us in Europe, and we hope to come to the UK.
Oh, wow, excellent. Well, like I say, if you do need a tech for that and you could afford it, you know I am, brother.
I know where you are, and I know we probably will need a tech for that.
Brilliant. Juan, I want to thank you so much for doing this interview. It's always a pleasure speaking to you. Do you have anything to say to the people watching this on YouTube?
I just want to say thank you for your support. Please check out the new record. I think it's something there for everyone. It's a lot of different influences we drew from, and it's a fun record that we enjoy very much.
Brilliant. Well, Juan, have an absolutely fantastic day, brother. I will send you this interview link when it's online. It'll be this evening. Please share it on social media. Awesome. Thank you, Juan. Have a fantastic day. Please say hello to the boys for me and also Bernie.
Thank you. I will.
Cheers, brother. Take care, man. Thank you. Bye.